it takes a lot to piss me off. It really does. And the two things that I can think of right now that really make me snap at people is, obviously, like, um, racism, speciesism, any form of, like, discrimination and injustice. And when a person acts like they are superior or, like, above like, above negative traits, like they don't have any negative traits, and that anybody who does is below them. That's the two type of people that really just piss me off. Okay, I don't know why, but this has been really heavy on my mind lately. And it's like, this whole idea is of, like, people pushing for a person to a higher standard or something, or people pushing like all positive, no negative traits kind of thing. And I think that this has triggered me the last couple of days because I'm having, like, some memories come back of some stuff that I've been through in the last 3 years. And it's just like this idea of people just, like, criticizing and judging someone who has flaws. And it sounds like such a weird thing to say out loud. To, like, judge someone who has flaws. Like, everybody has flaws. Everybody has something about them that you are not gonna like. But it's not a good enough excuse to, like, I don't know, just, like, say that this person is all bad just because they have a couple of things about them that you don't like personally. And, like, this idea just as a whole, good versus bad, that is, like, the most subjective shit ever. Like, it's like, obviously, if someone is, like, I don't know, a murderer or something, or an abusive person, relentlessly, for no reason, like, obviously they're not the best person. But, like, like, for example, if someone has more good traits than they do bad, or they have a balance of good and bad traits, do they deserve to be shunned for the bad traits because the bad traits exist? And I think that humans, they have this weird, strange expectation of other humans lately. Like, we've become such a judgmental society that it almost feels like some of us are walking on eggshells because an opinion that is now, like, expressed on social media, for instance, that is widely accepted, but it has a lot of judgmental bias to it. The person that, like, opposes with the masses of that that idea, they have become afraid of expressing it because they don't want to feel like they're they're getting backlash for it. And there is such a thing as too much, There's such a thing as being too good of a person. And I know that sounds absurd, but everything needs a balance. There has to be good things and bad things in the world for this thing to keep rolling. And I believe that. It's just the way my Libra moon operates. Yin and yang, balance, good and bad, day and night, sun and moon. But basically what I'm trying to say is it's wrong of people to shun others for not being perfect. And there's 2 tweets I wrote about these kind of things today. I can't really construct my thoughts right now. I don't know why. So I'll just read them and end this video. So the first thing I tweeted is, cancel culture is toxic because it passively teaches us that people are not allowed to be human and make mistakes. And that is what cancel culture is doing ultimately. Yes, it's starting out with celebrities and stuff and influencers and YouTubers like Shane Dawson, Jeffree Star, which they deserve to be shunned. But then you have people like Jenna Marbles, for instance, who took herself off of YouTube because she did some things that she was afraid of being shunned for. She probably wouldn't have even gotten any backlash over any of the things that she did. But because the possibility was there, she was afraid. So she took herself out of it. So this is a problem because it doesn't only create this unrealistic standard of good and bad. And I'm not saying, I'm not excusing racism because Shane Dawson is a racist, or pedophilia or any of that. Because that is, an obvious standard for obvious reasons. But then, at the same time, we just have to, think about if we become a society that judges people for literally everything, which is what I'm seeing lately. Even on vegan Twitter, just a couple of days ago or something, someone was judging somebody because they were dating a non-vegan or something like that. I do see the point of that, but at the same time, I don't know. I just think we need to tread lightly and not be so overly emotional on the standards we put for people. And we have to try to recognize whether a person is dealing with some kind of a trauma or they are just inherently shitty people. Before we set the standard to the point where people are afraid of being themselves, showing any darkness, and then repressing that. And then with that repression comes some kind of something brews up inside somebody when they have to repress every single part of themselves, even the dark shit. And if we have a society that holds a higher standard than like normal human standard, where we make mistakes, we learn from mistakes, but if we erase that, that idea, nobody's allowed to make mistakes and learn from mistakes. And if anyone makes a mistake, how are we gonna grow as a society? I think that made sense. I don't know. And the second tweet that I wrote was, irony is continuously bitching about other people's downfalls and negative traits and priding yourself on seeing through people, but feeling shocked when somebody sees this toxicity in you and cutting you off. You are not above anybody. So that's something else that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. People with superiority complexes that think that they are like above everybody else and that they are in the moral high ground and that they have nothing about them that is or could be seen as toxic. It's just really ironic, because I did this to someone this year. Like they always preached about get rid of toxic people, and they called me, like they subtweeted me and said that I'm a psycho or something. So weird. So this person, the Jesus of like good behavior and stuff, they said some things that were pretty hurtful to me. So it's like, you are literally the toxic person you bitch about. You're no different. That was my lesson to have learned. And it was actually very interesting, because I'm pretty sure like this person is probably still walking around thinking that they're like top notch and they make no mistakes and there's no room for growth, which is what I'm trying to say. Like, people with superiority complexes are just people I cannot stand. Like, people who think that they have nothing to work on, that they are pure divine light, that they are God or goddess. It's like the most ego-driven bullshit I've ever heard. And I wish that it wasn't real, but being in a spiritual community with so much like ego-driven people, it shows you that. And it shows you it well. And it's disappointing. Because ego, like when you introduce yourself to spirituality, you're not supposed to like think that you're above it. You're supposed to, like, the goal is to merge with everything in this reality as much as you humanly can. So yeah, that's my rant for today. Like this video if you did, subscribe, and leave me a comment if you've ever encountered someone with like a superiority complex who is completely not self-aware that they have that issue. Okay, bye.